17 Pro Max versus OnePlus 15 Speed Test 2. Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, the OnePlus has had a few updates, so has the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and I didn't hold this later. It just takes a while longer for the OnePlus logo to appear. That doesn't mean that the phone's going to take longer to boot up, but it definitely takes longer to get that logo on there. But you'll see the OnePlus does boot up quite a bit faster than the 17 Pro Max. So still looking good there on this super powerful device on the right. Now, when it comes to unlocking these phones, the OnePlus definitely is a faster phone to get into because you can bypass that swipe right there. But one thing I noticed is that both of these kind of fly in the same way. So their animations kind of like fly into the device, whereas the Samsung's kind of come at you. So definitely both giving you that very smooth, natural look here on both phones. So we'll do that again, and you'll see right there, and then swiping in kind of flies in. I would say that the iPhones are a little bit more dramatic, but speed-wise, OnePlus is going for that super smooth feel as well with their tri-core chipset here, giving you really good touch response, really good gaming performance, and really smooth everyday performance as well. Running through those home screens, you'll see almost zero issue whatsoever for the majority of the time. Now on the iPhone, sometimes occasionally when you go to app library, when you swipe across the screen, iOS 26 here can be, sometimes the app will show like the little app developer looking sign before the app appears. You'll also see sometimes like a slight bit of a chop, but nothing insane. Overall, both are very fast devices, but I do have to give the edge, I think, to a little bit more consistency to the OnePlus at this current time, guys. So here we are at the app test. Everything is closed out for both phones. Let's go ahead and begin with calendar. You can see a little faster on the OnePlus. We'll go on the clock, faster on the OnePlus, and this might come down to animations. We'll go into calculator, slightly quicker on the right. App Store, Play Store, again, faster on the right. And so updates are not really going to make the iPhone much faster simply because it's down to the animations here. You'll see right there, but we'll see if the benchmarks are any better. We'll go into Gemini right here, and we'll go into the Copilot. Again, faster on the OnePlus. OnePlus also has better battery life between these two, which is not many phones can say that over the 17 Pro Max. But you'll see that we do have an improvement there, or a winner there on the Groupon for the right. We'll go on Instagram here, and we'll go over here to the profile page. We'll click on this iPhone post, zoom in. All is pretty good on both. Little bit of weird look there coming out of the OnePlus, so it's not perfect either. We'll go over here to profile page, and we'll see what happens here. So far, looking good on both. Google News, faster on the right. Now, these aren't life-changing differences, but it's nice to see that there is phones that you can buy that are cheaper and perform sometimes better than the iPhone that usually is top of the game. But this one is definitely, 165 hertz in games, and it tends to just have a more consistent performance. So I really do like that for the OnePlus, and I think it's good value because they usually discount it. You don't really ever see discounts on the iPhone, and they also have. And so let's head into Dead Trigger 2 and see what happens here. We just have a few more games to see what happens, and it does look like the OnePlus is in the lead so far, but that could change. It tends to do that during certain, games. It'll start out whereas one is in the lead, and then the other tends to take the lead, and you'll see OnePlus in the lead there. The OnePlus also has, I think, more of a focus on gaming than the iPhone, even though the iPhone is top tier, really great developed games, and really high performance. I feel like there's a little bit more of a focus here for the OnePlus. It's almost like a gaming phone flagship without the gaming phone design on the OnePlus 15. Let's go over here to Free Fire and see which one does load this up first. And you'll see the OP Gaming Core is coming on, and we'll see probably the game mode come on here for a minute. And Free Fire goes to the right here for the OnePlus. So definitely quicker again. I think we already have our winner because the OnePlus has won so many of these already that there's not really a lot of room for the iPhone to make the comeback now. It's that far ahead, and you'll see that we're looking to be ahead here on the Destiny on the iPhone though. So can it make the comeback here? And it does win that one. So as we maybe get into certain games, they may be better developed for iPhone over here on iOS 26.5.1. We are getting very close to WWDC, so we're probably not going to see too many more iOS 26 versions, probably just dot releases, maybe one more major. We'll see what happens, but usually once the focus switches to the next major software update, it just goes to security and dot release mostly. So we'll see what happens. But the Asphalt 7 here, the Asphalt Legends over here, is actually loading up very similarly here on both phones, and we'll see what happens at this current time. But both of them very, very close here, but the OnePlus is going to take the win. So yeah, we only really had Destiny Rising here for the iPhone, and I mean, I could have launched more apps while waiting on this, so it kind of does show you a little bit where, you know, the difference is. You can see connecting to a server down there. Doesn't say downloads though, so we're pretty much, I might have to just swipe this out. We're pretty much locked up here, I think, on the iPhone. If we want to just sit here and wait all day for a server, I don't. So let's go ahead and head into 3D Mark, and you'll see that's going to go to the left, and we'll see right there, I think Geekbench was to the left, InShot to the right, and Speed Test Net to the right. So just like in the initial speed test, the OnePlus showing that it's still, even on these recent updates, a snappier phone in most regards. The iPhone won a couple, but not a ton of apps here. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and go through the applications and see what happens here. We do have 12 gigs of RAM on here. We're going to get that server connection right there. We also are reconnecting here on Destiny, but held it okay. Let's go ahead and go into Free Fire. We'll go into RTS. We'll go over here to Dead Trigger, Subway City Surf. We'll go into Google News. We'll go into X, and X is relaunching there. We'll go into Instagram, Groupon, Copilot, Gemini. So Apple doesn't really have a huge issue with reloads. However, if you're playing games, it does seem to close out some stuff, or at least pause some stuff in the background. I did notice. Let's see how the OnePlus does. This is the 16 gig of RAM OnePlus 15. So let's go ahead and see. I noticed a very big emphasis on the animations, but it seems to hold these things better. Look at this. I mean, it's not doing any pausing action, kind of like the iPhone did. And X is going to be the telltale. There it goes. 16 gigs of RAM does make a difference. You've seen right there. Whereas with the iPhone, I feel like more things were kind of paused a little bit in the background. We are seeing a full hold here on the background. So not only do you have some true multitasking with pop windows and kind of like split views here on the OnePlus, you also do have better RAM management. So definitely going to the OnePlus there. Let's run a quick Geekbench and I'll be back with the results. And so our final scores are in, and you can see that we do have a 3776 on the iPhone with 9814 on the multi-core score. We have a bigger score on the multi for the OnePlus, but a lower on the single. So iPhone's still really strong in that department, but like I say, I feel like this phone was a little bit more built for gaming as a standard flagship, and we see that here on the multi-core. So let's go ahead and run a 3D Mark benchmark on both of these. We'll do 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme and kind of see what we are capable of producing here for both of these devices. I do think OnePlus pulls far ahead in this one, even on the latest updates here, 26.5.1, Android 16 latest patch. So we'll see what happens though. I didn't pre-test them, but usually that OnePlus is really strong. So final results are in, and for Wildlife Extreme here, we got 5704 on the iPhone with a 34.2 FPS, scoring better than 94% of devices out there. That's been good enough for me to use this phone daily, but I gotta say, the OnePlus doesn't feel, it feels ahead actually. So we do have a 6778, and we also do have ourselves around 41 FPS. It also does score a bit better, 98%. So actually, I would like to see how this OnePlus does against the iPad Pro M4, which was better than 98% of devices out there. But yeah, that's going to go to the OnePlus as well. So we're going to go ahead and do the camera test here and see which one can launch this first before we get up out of here. And you'll see, I didn't actually even see that. Let me do that again. 3, 2, go. I think it was the OnePlus.